Okay, here we go. Seventh graders, we're going to learn a little short refresher course on the distributive property. Here we go. Otherwise known as 7 of these and 7 of those. Here's what I mean. Our first example. Let's go with red here. I apologize any noise you might hear in the background. There's all kinds of stuff going here. Whining dogs, barking dog, homeschooling, talking in the background. There's all kinds of stuff happening, but just focus on this. Going to have 3 examples. Here's our first teaching example. 7 with x plus 8 in parentheses, which literally means 7 of these and 7 of those. That's what I mean by that. So we're going to use a little arrow or a little line to indicate 7 of those. In the next one it might be 5 of something else, but the idea is the same. Of means to multiply. We show multiplication with a variety of signs, including parentheses. The word and means to add, of course. So to show our work, we're going to show, I drew that line that shows 7 times x. I drew that little, it's not a line I guess, little curve. There's the word and. 7 of 8s. Okay, I complete that. What is 7 of x? 7x. And what is 7 of 8s? Imagine you have these little things over here called 8s. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Drawing a picture is such a great way to reinforce a concept. I have 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Which is 56. I can just count. There we go. That one is done. All we're doing is simplifying, which means doing is, to put it in simple terms for you, do as much as you can, perform as many operations as you can, combine like terms as much as you can, then you're done. Like this might not look like the answer, but it is, because we did all that stuff. Okay, let's do another example for you. Quick teaching example, and then I'll show you what the assignment will be. And if you take notes or save this video and use the examples, you will be fine. Here we go. This means, if I'm going to use the language here again, the opposite of 3 of these and the opposite of 3 of, is it going to fit? Those. Okay, so the opposite of 3 of these and the opposite of 3 of those. Okay, so let's do it. Just like up above, start like that. There's the language, the explanation, the translation, and let's do it. Let's draw a little line. So I've got the opposite of 3 of those y's, and I've got the opposite of 3 of those negative 2's. So if I take 3 y's, and I have the opposite of that, if I take 3 negative 2's, right? If I have this thing called -2 and I have 3 of them, then I have -6. But if I take the opposite of -6, it's +6. We're done. Teaching example number 2 in green. So I always like, if you're in my class, you already know this, I like using the word opposite as a way of explaining what the negative sign does. Put a little red line up here to show we did that one. Guess which color we're going to use for the third example. I'll give you a hint. Okay, take a guess now. If you need to think about what color, pause the video. Okay, here's our third example in blue. Don't be afraid of fractions. It's just another number, another value. It's not a big deal. And we still use the word of, but when we take a fraction of something, we're making it smaller. So you could picture in your head while you're thinking there. Picture that your answer is going to be smaller than 4x plus 10y minus 3. It's going to be half of each one of those things. Easy, right? Here we go. I've got this thing called 4x. I cut it in half. What do I have? I think you're right there. And I have this thing called 10y. But I'm going to cut it in half. I think that's going to be 5y. What do you think? And I have this thing called -3 and half of -3. I think that's -1.5. Okay, let's do this. Half of 4x, 2x. Half of 10y, 5y. Notice that we cut the numbers in half, but we keep the variable the same. That's like saying half of 4 erasers is 2 erasers. The variable represents something, okay? And half of -3 is going to be -1.5. There we go. 3 teaching examples. Key words we used here over and over again. Of for multiply. We used and for add. We used opposite for distributing negative signs. Ooh, that looks like a weird face or a speech bubble or something. Anyway, this video is over. The basics of the distributive property. Getting rid of those parentheses. Another word. Simplify. Distribute. Without the vocab, we really cannot communicate about this stuff. Okay, there we go. Done. Thanks for watching. And now go do your work.